All right, so to use the simulators at home, all right, first thing you want to do is open up the program that you are working with. In this case, I have the parking garage with sim file all the way already opened. So we're going to be starting from that point. I'm assuming that you can open up a file. All right, next you would want to probably just start your HMI. All right, the reason we're going to start our HMI right away is I created the HMI for you. So it should be able to overall work completely by itself. There's nothing that you guys should need to change on it. So we should be safe to start the HMI sim. So you're going to click on the word HMI over here in the project tree, or HMI_1, the title block for that project. You're going to go online and then do simulation and start. Now, this does seem to take a while. All right. With the HMI simulator, every time you would make a change, you'd have to re-upload your code, and you're going to have to put it online every time again. It's kind of annoying. Now, luckily, in introduction class, we don't have that issue because you aren't uploading code to the HMI other than the initial upload. All right. And as you can see at this point, we are up and running. We can see kind of what is going on our HMI screen. So that should be all well and good at this point. All right. Next, we want to upload the simulation for the PLC itself. All right. So if we go back to our PLC and we go ahead to our program blocks, let's just see what we've got going. I shouldn't have anything in here other than sim code. All right. This is what makes the HMI actually work. All right. So if we don't mess with this. Like I even put a little note in there. Do not modify. All right. So we'll go ahead and just put a new rung in here. I'm just going to do a little make and a break, and I am going to look at my HMI, and I'm going to go with the car coming, and I'm going to make that gate up just to make our life easier. Maybe, oh, car requested. All right, and then I'm going to go with motor gate raise just to make something actually happen is what it comes down to. All right, so then we're going to download this just like we would to a normal PLC. You're going to do online, except for instead of doing download device, we're going to do simulation, and we will go ahead and do start. Oh, great. Now this is making my video look horrible. So what was the other error? Because there's already an online connected to a device. Is that our problem? Didn't like the HMI simulator being run first. That's very interesting. All right, just something for you guys to be aware of, I guess. I have never had that issue before. I guess I don't often start it one first. Anyway, the first thing you're going to see is this window is going to pop up. Boom. All right, and at this point, we're still thinking. This is a long process for the first upload. Once you get that first upload done, you're okay. But that first upload definitely does take a little bit of time to get everything processed, the simulation up and running, things networked properly. All right. So it does take it a little bit of time, and I'm running out of things to say while we waste time. All right, well, there we go. That was like perfect timing as I ran out. So now it's the normal window that you guys are used to. All right, it's that normal load preview saying, hey, our PLC's loading, we're compiling, making sure all the code is actually legitimate. We're just going to basically say load at this point. And then I always suggest you make sure you hit start all. Now, if you forget to hit start all, not the end of the world, I'm going to show you. So I finish. All right, and our PLC is here. And notice we still don't have any lights going either on the run, error, or maintenance. So we still are not done the upload process yet. All right, again, this initial upload for the sim I find takes for stinking ever. So there we go. We got our compiling configuration, like we're actually sending something to it now. There we go. We are now having our code running on the simulation. Now, again, my example, I have an orange light here next to run stop. That means we're in stop mode because I didn't check that start all button. So for your purpose, you just have to click the run if you would forget to click that start all. Make sure you got a green light there. And boom, we now have a green light. I now should be able to click the switch to project view. And that will be very helpful at a later point in time. Now, before we do that, we get too far into that, let's see if we can get that HMI up and going again. So we're going to click on HMI again, do online, simulation, start. And again, it's going to take it a while. So every time you would change code, you would have to do that same process. There we go. Now, if you noticed a few minutes ago when I did the HMI first, you noticed in the cars parked, it had number sign. It didn't have any numbers there because it wasn't yet communicating with the PLC. So since that we have our PLC up and running, it says, oh, cars parked to 0 because there's a tag that I can now see. All right. So with my really simple code that I wrote, I should be able to hit this button and this gate should go up if I remember how my simulation code works. So let's go ahead and look. Look, there we go. All right, let go, it goes up. Now this one's just going to go up forever until I make it go too high, and then you get the, oh my God, you just blew the burning down because you made it go too high or something along those lines. So you can press the reset button and that will get rid of it. I also have programmed in this one that F2, the real button on the actual PLC, is also reset, and that will take everything back to wherever you need to. So that's kind of nice. But then again, if we come back to our PLC sim, sim tables, this is where you would go if you would need to pretend to push an actual button. Like if we had a button in the real world that you had like on your PLC wired up to one of those boxes, which you guys probably might have in some of these things. You're going to come down here to sim table 1, and then you would actually type out the name of your tag. All right, so in this example, I'm just going to use that car requested again. Requested. All right. Just minimize that some. So right now it says monitoring value is false, so that's what it's saying. Hey, this value is currently false. And all you can do to pretend to push a button is you just check the box that says bits. Really? Not going to work, huh? Oh, probably because I have something actually pressing it. What button do we want to... What can I trigger? Let's go with our full light. We should be able to trigger that. Nothing else is controlling it. Light full. There we go. Let's try that one. See if it'll let me press that one. Nope, still not letting me. What button did I miss doing? I don't know if it's not letting me do this because... Oh, can I type true here? Nope. I don't know if it's not letting me do this because I don't have a real button. That could very well be the case. Let's just go with I0.0, not 1. I0.0. Yeah, it's not happy with me for that one. All right, let's just go ahead and do a quick test here. Let's just go ahead and create a button. How about that? Yeah, take that, computer. We'll show you I0.0. Create my tag. Now that you've already started the simulation is running, you can just do your download as you usually would. All right, you don't have to do online every time. You can just download like you normally would, and it will all work just fine. So that is kind of nice. All right, now let's, oh, we're thinking still. Okay, I don't know what that's there. So it was tag 1. Hey, that one I can modify. So it's because this is an actual input, I think, that's letting me modify it. All right. So if you want to use a sim table to actively modify something, it's got to be a real input in the actual world. It can't be a memory. Probably can't be an output, because I know it can't be an output because I put down one of those in here too, I think. Yeah, light full, can't be an output. But the real ones, there you go. See, you can actually see the simulator happening. All right. So we only can fire. Yeah. We only can modify using the sim tables the real world inputs. Now, if you wanted to modify something that wasn't a real world input, now back to that other tag that I had in here, you can do that in the simulation. You can do that non-simulation, like in a real PLC. You're like, oh, this is a memory bit that I need to modify. You could right-click on it and say modify to a 0 or a 1. So if it was an M bit, you could do that whenever you would want in the actual code. All right. But actual inputs, you can do it to it. I can say go to a 1. And if you notice at the bottom, it says that was successfully modified. But because that's a real world input, it's going, I was modified, and then the next loop of code I went, oh, I should go back to a 0. So I modified the input tag, that tag table that input gets stored into. But remember, that's getting updated, in the case of my code, every millisecond. So that's why you're not seeing it stay green, because it's saying, update the tag table for input. Yes. All right. Now I've gone back through everything. I said, let me check all the inputs again. I went, oh, that input's a 0, and it updated that tag table again. So that's why you can't actively modify an input or an output. Outputs you can kind of get away with, especially if it's like a latching output. Let me quick, I guess, show you guys that. We'll just, that's not what I wanted. There we go. So like if this was a motor gate raise, right? And I guess I'm gonna go ahead and throw a, what was that car requested? Yeah, I'll show you those. That'll work. All right, so we can go ahead and download this. Yes, overwrite. We're back online, cool. So like this car requested, I can modify this to a 1. And again, you didn't see it update, right? You're like, why didn't it update? Well, that's because in here, it's updating it. The HMI is updating that tag every loop of code, basically. So it can be a real pain when you're trying to update things, especially things that have like stuff referencing them somewhere else. If I click and hold this, you can see it go green. So I gotta go, in this instance, this is not gonna work. So let me make my life a little bit simpler and re-download this. All right, so that's true. So I'm gonna go to my sim table. I'm going to, oh, we're still thinking. I'm gonna make this a 1. Boom, we turned that on, right? I can turn this off now. It's gonna stay on because it was latched. I can come down here and I can modify this to a 0. And look, it changed. That's an output. It's a real world thing. I can change it. Well, that's because the logic in the program is saying, oh, I should stay on, right? Because once I change this to a 1, this one becomes a 1. Power flows through it, through this to that again. So it's saying, oh, I should stay a 1. So once it's outputs, you might be able to toggle depending on your code, all right? Real world inputs, you cannot toggle because every millisecond, 2 milliseconds, 10 milliseconds, something like that, it's being updated. And remember, in your code is running the screen, sorry, not the code. Your screen is only updating like every 300 to 400 milliseconds. So you may toggle something, it may go green for one scan of the code and then go back to being false, and you never see it on the screen because your screen is not updating as fast as the code is running. So just like to point that out to you. So that's how you roughly use the simulators real quick. So just a reminder, if you were to exit out of these things, you're like, yeah, I'm done with it, by accident or whatever the case is. Believe me, it happens. I've done it. It's rather annoying. Notice how long this takes to close because it's like, oh, I'm actually saving something. Anyway, you would go back to click on the PLC, online, simulation, start. Make sure, I guess, you do the PLC one first. I don't know why that matters, but it seems to actually matter. So do the PLC one. You're going to get this box to come up. It's going to take you 12 minutes to hold this whole process. Not actually 12, but it's going to feel like 12 as you're just like, come on, computer, you can do it. You can do it. I believe in you. It's just like, I don't believe in myself. Anyway, that same thing. Remember with the HMI, click online, start. All right. And you should be good to go. Any questions? No? Awesome. Let me go ahead and